I should probably open up Twitch so I can watch it because I can't see you at all.
Me at all. Hey, now
I'm
you
gonna.
get to know what it's like. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Wave 3 Presale 4.2 launch party of Land over on Sandbox.game. Today, with me, my name is Joseph Matting. This is Alex. I am blanking on your last name, Kamikaze Flores.
Flores.
Thank you. I was already there before he said it. That's right. It is early, but not as early as it has been the last few days for me. In Wave 3 of the presale, we are doing it 2 hours later than the presale from yesterday and 2 hours later than the presale from before to help accommodate people from all around the world that are interested in getting land. So, Alex, how are you doing this morning?
I'm awake.
Wake. That is, I think that's the base expectation for me for sure. Like, we're on day 3, I'm running a little on empty, and it has been an interesting morning. Okay, so before we get into the details of some of the questions that I would expect to be seeing popping in on the chats from all of our services, whether they be Periscopes, YouTubes, Twitch, what have you, I want to get into what today's presale is going to be like, and it's a little bit different than the last 2 pre-sale waves we have had. Today, the Ethereum network is very, very busy. There was a token that had been released on one of the most popular peer-to-peer only, what you would call DeFi or decentralized finance exchanges. So Uniswap has released a token, and they have been distributing this token, about 400 tokens at a time, to the extent of, I believe, 250 million total tokens.
Whoa.
It has been going on for the last 11 hours at about 30 transactions per minute, and it is super clogging the Ethereum network. So, if you're unfamiliar with what the kind of results of that are, I'm going to go over that. But before I go over that, I want to make sure that you all can see this computer. So, normally, when I stream for the Sandbox, I'm streaming out of this computer. That might seem odd, but I do it for efficiency reasons. So I am going to switch over right now, and we are going to say, for the moment, we'll be able to hear Alex, but we're going to say goodbye to Alex for just a moment, and you are going to see Vision X mode. All right. So now we are in my world. We are talking as Joe, not as much as a Sandbox, so I can help show you using my tools, my wallets, all those things, what's really happening here before we get into the land sale. The first thing to know is that this is the Etherscan.io gas tracker. This is the official, or closest thing to official, version of a gas tracker that helps kind of moderate and show you what it's going to cost to transfer Ethereum or Ethereum-based tokens slash currencies over the Ethereum network, right? And what this shows is a number called GWEI, right? At least that's how I pronounce it. It may be GWEI, but I frequently call it GWEI. And what
I like GWEI.
What GWEI is used for, very good, very good, is it shows you, or rather, when you process a transaction, if I want to send money from me to Alex, right? I say, how much gas am I willing to pay to send this money to Alex in whatever amount of time, right? And depending on how much gas you pay, depends on your priority of getting your transaction processed by regular people like me and you who are processing Ethereum transactions as miners on the network. So, because of the Uniswap token being released to the public, you can actually see on this page, etherscan.io/gas tracker, you can see on this page what the top 50, they call them gas guzzlers, are on the network. And 22% of all of the gas used in the last 3 hours is on Uniswap. 13.39% of all the gas used is Uniswap's token distributor. And then there's USDT stablecoin and Uniswap protocol Uni token. So like out of all of the transactions that are going on, roughly 50% of all of the gas that's being spent is being used exclusively for this token or some other transaction on Uniswap, right? And we use Uniswap for some of us that are buying Sand tokens in America. We trade ETH for Sand on Uniswap, right? So like there's a lot of different tokens that are traded on there, and it's contributing quite a lot to this gas fee. So I wanted to cover this and then dig just a little deeper in within the first like 5 minutes here, so that you know kind of what we're getting into as we go to buy land this morning or this afternoon or evening, depending on where you are in the world, right? So I was tracking this a little bit earlier, and here's kind of the breakdown. You can see the balance of remaining Uni tokens that are set to be distributed is about 87, 88 million right now. When I first got on at 4 in the morning, this was about 95 million. And based on my math on that, and I could be wrong, could go faster, could go slower, I'd project that these tokens will be fully distributed in about 23, 22 hours from now. Something like that. So hopefully gas won't be super high when we get into tomorrow's sale, okay? However, today, if I go to send Ethereum on the network, right? This is what it will look like, essentially, right? When you do any land transaction on the network, you get a little pop-up that's the middle portion of my screen right now, right? And it says like, hey, what contract are you satisfying? Usually it's the thing that pops up at the top, and it may say the Sandbox or it may say somebody else. What asset are you going to be sending? So if I try to send Citizen right now, 0.01 Ethereum, which is $3 worth, right? I see a transaction fee on the bottom. And this is actually where you spend your gas. And you say, how fast do I want it to go on the network? I could go slow, average, fast. So if I was to click slow, when you click advanced options on this pop-up, on any of your, whether it be a land purchase or anything else, if you click advanced options, it actually shows you what GUI it's going to spend to get this transaction to process. And you can see here on the advanced options, the estimated time of this transaction says it's 32 seconds, but you're paying in 200 GUI, right? And it's got a total here on the bottom and an estimated dollars for that 200 GUI. But if we look back at the previous page, the gas page, right? Ethereum Gas Tracker says if you want a transaction to process in 30 seconds, you should actually be choosing 800 GUI, which is considerably more, right? Like it's a lot. It's a lot. But so really what you're doing, right, when you're making this decision is you're understanding if I pay more GUI, I can make the transaction happen faster. However, you have to, as an individual, you have to decide, okay, is this what I want to do? Do I want to spend 800 GUI to make this transfer happen? And now this $5 transaction is $10.20 to send Cent, right? If I save that, to send Cent $3.81, I've decided I'm gonna spend, you know, the $10 to send it, right? And so you make that determination as you go, right?
That's just how much we love Citizen.
Right. No, absolutely, right. Like he needs the ETH. I'm gonna send it anyway. Maybe that's the decision that I make. And an interesting thing is, if I sent him a full Ethereum, $380, right, the transaction fee may not change that much because there's kind of a base cost for making anything happen, and like it's actually less as you get into these bigger bulk transactions. So all things being relative, the other day when we had wave 1 of this current pre-sale, folks like myself and Alex, when we do this, we're actually we're buying at the same time you are. We don't get like a special advantage for working with and for the Sandbox, right? So
right there, fighting it out.
Yeah, exactly. Right. So like I wanted to get an estate. I ended up getting a small estate. I was lucky enough to do that. And in getting that small estate, it was about $10.71. However, on that day, when I did that transaction, that $10.71, I believe I could show you somewhere. This was my interaction. You can see my GUI gas price only had to be 202 on that day. So if I was to make this same transaction today, if I was to do a little math, this $10.86, what it is right now, would be roughly $40 to do that transaction to get an estate, right? So how does this relate to the Sandbox? Now that I've covered all that, I want to go back. I'm going to step out of Vision X mode. We're going to go back into proper the Sandbox mode here. Give me just a second while it turns over. There we go. Alex is back. We're back doing it this way. And now I can minimize this and I could talk about what that means as the sandbox. So you can see here that the next wave starts. This took about 10 minutes worth of explanation, and I hope that was super valuable to you guys. Hopefully that's what you wanted to hear, maybe learn a little bit about this. But as we get into this sale, the next wave starts in, right? This is a timer that dictates that we will start the sale in 49 minutes, right? However, if you feel like this is too much of a gas price, right? The sale may start, but you have an opportunity to wait a little bit. As long as these are placed up for the entirety of presale 4.2, right? When you try to buy a 1x1 land that doesn't have any Care Bears on it, it's still going to cost 906 Sand for as long as it is available. So this sale will go on for about a week without any interruptions. So as long as there's still land available for the duration of that week from each one of these timers hitting 0. This entire section that we're going to start, section 3 today, will be up for 7 days. So we're going to be sure that you don't have to worry about necessarily gas fees. If you don't mind the gas fees and you understand that like you want to get in and you want to get what you can or what have you, then hopefully you now kind of understand how the process works and understand that what's happening with gas is really just about the popularity of the Ethereum blockchain and paying the people who are doing the mining on that Ethereum blockchain. Okay? So, Alex, what do you think about all that?
My brain is allocating space for all that information right now, so it may take a little while to digest.
Yeah.
Run a deep track later.
There you go. So we have some commentary going on in the chat right now, and I'm going to start going over that and see where we are with that. There's already been somebody
some
who's
lucky elder bear owners here.
Oh, really?
I'm gunning for an elder bear myself. I've got somebody who's teaming up with me I will trade for an elder bear if I have to, because that one's my favorite.
So this is what the elder bear looks like if you don't already know, right? I'm putting it up on the screen now. Wonderful bear, dedicated with defense as its primary stat as a legendary ally fighter. There's just 200 copies available of the elder bear, and all the other Care Bears that we have on here will have 200 potential copies. So you can see a lot of different legendary assets are going to be available this morning, this afternoon, or evening, depending on where you are. Today, as a highlight here, we are doing wave number 3, which is going to be this section with 1,046 lands, and that starts up in just about 46 minutes, something like that. So, let's see here. Somebody says that they had received some of that Uniswap currency, so good for you. I hear that it's going for a good amount of money. My understanding of it right now is that if you had staked currency on their platform, you may be eligible to receive that. And on average, folks are getting about $1,000 worth of the currency with those distributions. So that's pretty good. If you're fortunate enough to have staked, maybe you staked ETH for Sand as a liquidity provider, you may be rewarded this morning, and you could go pick that up before the sale and use that to buy if you're into it. Wow. Let's see here. Yeah, it's super cool. So let's see. Elder bear as well. A couple of people with those elder bears. That's good.
Yeah.
See here. It doesn't make any sense to participate in the sale with those fees, and that's the thing, right? It's like we're going to facilitate that if you don't feel like it's a worthwhile venture this morning. As I said, I would estimate, and this isn't an official Sandbox thing, but based on the math, the distribution of the Uniswap token should be done by tomorrow this time, and hopefully gas fees will be down then. But our sale is going to continue on all week long, so if they don't sell out this morning, if you feel like the gas fees are too high, then you're going to have obviously tomorrow's opportunity, and they'll continue on all week as long as they're still available. So you've got a chance there. And not only that, but this is presale 4.2. And so you can see this section at the top that I'm highlighting here. This one all sold, all 4,500 of these lands. We sold them back at the beginning of August now. And that was 4.1, right? So this group that we're doing this week is 4.2. We've still got more space available in the pre-sale 4 price point, which is a 10% discount off the regular rate. So you can see that if it comes that you feel like the gas is too high and you want to wait till later, you'll still have a good opportunity to get some land, and you'll still get it at the good price that we have going on right now. So let's see. Oh, interesting. Argoob says that you didn't have to stake, you just had to be a user of the platform before September.
I
So
missed my chance.
yeah, well, that's just some feedback there. So maybe before the land or before the sale. See, and that's the thing, right? If you had used the platform, if you were lucky enough to use the platform, you may not be so concerned about the gas prices because you just got a way to cover that gas right now. So that's an interesting bit of insight there. How much gas estimate for a small estate? Okay, so the answer to that, I showed it just right at the very beginning, like within the first couple of minutes. On day one. On day one, for this estate over here, I paid this sand. I paid roughly $10-11 worth of gas for that. Today, gas price is roughly 3 to 4 times more than that day. So if I was to guess, it's about $40. But you can always do the math by using the Ethereum Gas Tracker, or and those kind of things, and get a rough idea for how much ETH you're going to need to be ready for that. But yeah, okay. So a question has come in: is the gas the same for when you buy a 1x1 or a 3x3, or does the estate cost more? So gas is relative to the complexity of a smart contract, essentially. If you were to send, like if I send to Alex, the gas price is a little bit less. It has kind of a base value. But as the contracts get more complex, the gas goes up just a little bit. So what that really means is that if you buy a 1x1, you've got one NFT that's being transferred under the smart contract. If you're buying a 3x3, you've got 9 NFTs. 9 of those 1x1 lands are being transferred in the smart contract. So it's I see your commentary there, Alex. I like it. So the gas will be a little higher if you were to buy an estate, and somewhere right in the middle of that would be if you were to buy the premium land that includes the 4 Care Bears branded NFTs, because you're getting 1 land NFT and you're getting 4 Care Bears branded NFTs. So that is a smart contract that contains 5 total NFTs. So it should be right in the middle ballpark, something like that. If I purchase today with less gas price, which might take 1 day to process, will my process succeed? I don't know what the timeout period is on the Ethereum blockchain, because I am not an Ethereum architect. I don't necessarily know the code base for Ethereum off the top of my head. I'm more of like an operations guy. I know marketing and that kind of stuff, and how to communicate that information in kind of a normal way to normal people like us, right? So
Now,
if
I can jump in there real quick.
absolutely,
You know way more about crypto than I do, but what I've seen on past pre-sales is people who have tried manipulating their gas fees to lower that too much. They have failed in the past, and their purchase has reverted and left that spot open for somebody else to jump in there who had put in a higher gas fee or got the timing just right. Obviously, you can't like really predict how that timing will go. So it's not like somebody's trying. It's not like eBay sniping,
sure, yeah,
because there's a delay on everything, so you can't exactly tell what's going on. It's not like somebody's maliciously trying to take it out of your hands. But if you do set your gas fee too low, there's a good chance that you're gonna lose it.
right. So let's see. Peter, yes, I do. I not only do I have an idea, but I know exactly. So at the beginning of presale 4.2, we set the estate price to roughly a 1x1 would have been $43.20, right? But what is that relative to land? And the price of a 3x3 was roughly $369 and some change. And I don't, off the top of my head, I don't know that. But we then at the time pegged that to sand prices, right? So we have the USD as the base, and then sand, we peg it at the beginning of the sale until the end of the 4.2 event. So that means that if I was to scroll in right here and I click a regular 1x1 that I know is not Care Bears, right? This is 906 sand on that day. It's going to be 906 sand today. If I click the 3x3 right here that I was lucky enough to get, this is 7773 sand. It will be that again today. The Care Bears premiums 2107. It will be that same today. So hopefully that answers the question in the most complete way. Let me see. There's a medium right here was 29,488. Don't know if there is a large available or not. I think that so here was a large that was sold. It doesn't have a cost in sand. That's interesting. Maybe it has been parted out or separated. Sometimes that'll happen on the UI when it has, even if they just gave one tile to a friend. Anyway, yeah, okay, 111,382 sand. I like it. I'll go with that as a good rough estimate. But on today's sale, I don't believe that there is a large space available. There is not a large space available today. There will be 2 on Wave 4 tomorrow. So if you're interested in one of those large spaces that includes the 12 by 12, then you'll want to be here tomorrow, and there will be 2. But today, you can see roughly on the map, if you look at the Medium article, you could see this map again, like on your own screen if you don't like it here on the stream or what have you. Kind of get an idea, and I've been advising this over the last couple of days, is first make sure that you're signed into the website with the correct wallet. Make sure that that wallet is loaded with sand and also the Ethereum to cover the gas if you're interested in purchasing right away. Again, gas is going to be a little high today because of the distribution of that Uni token, but we're not going to make you wait necessarily to buy land, and we won't change our plans based on how other companies operate, right? Like, we're still going to stay true. We believe in our product, and if people don't like the gas fees this morning, they'll stay up for all week long. So you'll have an opportunity to do it.
Tondi had one more question in there about if it says purchased, does that mean it's confirmed? So if you see it turn green on the map, well, actually, if you buy it, it'll be red on the map, or kind of like a pink red color on the map. So that's your way of knowing on the map that you definitely have it, and in your, whether you use MetaMask or whatever wallet you use, there should be an Etherscan link that will tell you if it's been confirmed. Did I get that right? I think that's correct.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Yeah. So you can see it on your wallet first, but because of, and I actually love this, a couple of pre-sales ago, the dev team came up with this fantastic idea to literally just show you right here on the map when your thing's confirmed, right? So you're
yes, yeah.
When you first click on a land, right, it's going to pop up on the right side and it's going to say buy if you are able to buy it. And then when you click buy, you'll have to confirm that you do intend to buy, right, with a second buy click. And then you may be the person who books it. The only time that there's an exception to that is if you and somebody else at the same time click the same tile and both clicked buy, then it may say like, hey, you had an unknown error because their buy transmitted to the server before yours and they got the booking, right? Then, after you've booked it, the tile turns purple and it gives you the opportunity to open up your wallet and click, yes, I want to pay, right? So, right there, and I'm going to answer this question, Gatsby, in just a second. So after you've clicked on your transaction on your MetaMask or your Bitski or your Arcane wallet, right? After you've clicked on that transaction and you've confirmed that you've read how much gas it's going to cost, how long that's going to take, etc., you click confirm to make your payment, and then as soon as that transaction does process on the blockchain, your purple color changes to green for everybody who's not you, and you should also see red on the map for the spaces that you own. So if you own other tiles from previous pre-sales, you'll probably already see that on the map that they've been red. If you're signed in, maybe like me, you can see I'm a nerd, right? I've got this computer 1, computer 2, so I can see them turn red for me over here and green over there when they confirm. But if you, another thing, the only other thing to go over is when they first unlock. I get this question a lot, like how do you know when they unlock, right? The timer hits 0, and the iframe, or like the portion of the screen that is the map, refreshes automatically. So you don't have to refresh. As soon as your connection makes it to the server, that comes back, boom, you see that update, all the lands unlock. They turn a slightly different shade of gray, and they look like the same formation that you'll see on this article here, right? So that's why I say to look at this, plan ahead, like what roughly, where do you want to go? What do you want to buy? Where do you want to be? That kind of thing. If you're looking to get it in like moment zero, right? Then you come back here. All of these tiles, they won't be these little 1x1s anymore. They will look like the shapes that you see here on this map, right? And you can click on one and you can make that happen. If you're purchasing, you'll notice here in pre-sale 3, there's a lot of yellow tiles, right? The yellow tiles are the only ones that have the premium lands, which include the Care Bears NFTs that Alex was kind enough to make. Beautiful work, beautiful work. And
Thank
they'll maintain and update as the I think you call it, what do you call it, the child model, right? In the game maker, is it called the child
you.
model?
We call it a small human
Okay,
or small humanoid because it could be a goblin, could be an elf,
very very good. So
or a bear.
all of the actions that as the game maker and those models are updated, you're going to get those kind of like actionable animation updates to the Care Bears automatically as a result. So that's pretty cool. Let's see. Answer some questions that I'm seeing now. It does matter how long it takes to confirm the transaction, so that's important. If you do wait too long with that transaction in your wallet, it will get canceled automatically. It is roughly a couple of minutes, just so that you know. However, if you are here for the initial launch and you don't get a chance to pick up a land like within the first couple of minutes, if they still fly out the door like they have the last couple of days, then keep in mind that the purple bookings don't necessarily mean that somebody had enough money in their wallet to pay the gas fees and the sand fees, right? Some people get excited and they're like, I'm going to buy 4 or 5 premium lands right now. And then they look at their balance and realize they can only afford 3. And so after a little while, if they click the cancel button like, oh, geez, I couldn't do it, that's going to change back to the original color and give someone else an opportunity to book that. So if you miss it on the first set, if they go super fast this morning and you miss it on the first set and you still want it, stick around. On day 1, I actually had somebody report that like 32 minutes later, they were still sitting there waiting for one that had been booked, and they were super excited, right? And then it ended up turning gray and they were able to click it and buy it. So own or build on land. When you own or build on land, does that become an area in a multiplayer world that everyone can visit in a large world? So yes and no.
Could be.
It could be, yeah. Alex, you know what? You're good at this. You have been building with the multiplayer client, or to this point, the single player client, for quite a while.
So yeah, there's first of all, hi Maggie, my daughter's watching.
Very good.
So yeah, the multiplayer is going to be launching very soon in the alpha build, and the purpose of buying land, there's three major reasons why you would want to buy land, because you can make games with the game maker for free without owning land. It's not in public beta yet, but once it is in public beta, you will be able to build in the game maker without having bought land. So why would you want to buy land? The three main reasons are you can monetize, so people can play your game and you can earn income from a variety of ways on that land. And we can talk about that a little bit more later, what some of the possibilities are. The second reason is that you can be on the metaverse map, or you would be on the metaverse map if you publish to land, and people will be able to organically find your game from your proximity to other games. So this adds value to being next to a Sandbox land or one of our partner lands like Care Bears or Atari. Being near those other lands, or being near the portals, which if people are curious about that, we can talk about that also later. Being near those things will mean you'll get more traffic to your game, And if you monetize your game, you will get more traffic in your monetization. And then the third reason would be multiplayer. So you can set up multiplayer type games, and whether you set up a racing game or battle royale or just a hangout, like a hub where people can just hang out and chat and goof off and take a look at your cool artwork, whatever you want to do. It's really up to whatever you want to create on your land. So having that multiplayer will increase interest. That I mean, I love single player games. Lots of people love single player games, but multiplayer games do have an ability to attract more people. So on top of having that good proximity, to get that traffic, the fact that other people are there will make people interested for longer periods of time in being on your land, because hey, they get to talk to people and play against or with other people. And so that all helps your monetization. So your investment in the land, it's an investment. You're not just buying a game to play and have fun, which you can do certainly. You're making an investment to make something really cool and profitable out of your purchase with the land. um, did that sufficiently answer the question? Was there any more
I
to it
think
than that?
so, but I'm going to come at this from a little bit of a different angle,
Sure.
because when I first learned about and got involved with the Sandbox, right? We've been doing these pre-sales since December of 19 to some degree. They've been
Mhm.
getting increasingly larger each time. But when I first learned about it, I thought about like, what does a land mean to me? And if I am creating a world in the same way that on the PlayStation they have a game called Dreams, and people ask me about this all the time in our kind of communities here, right? And they say, well, how is this close to that, right? You can design anything that you want in Dreams, and the Sandbox is pretty similar, right? You can design pretty much anything you want. But when I buy Dreams, um, digitally, I just pay for it, right? There's nothing left to do with Dreams. I have it and I can make the games and I can publish them or whatever. And how we're different in the Sandbox is that, let's say that you pick up a land and you design your world and you do all these things and you learn all these things and you've published some games, but you're ready to do something else. It may be
Mhm.
like, it's just a flash in the pan for you. The sandbox is unique because you're getting a non-fungible token, which means that this digital thing has kind of like a physical, real existence where you can transfer that land to someone else. Maybe you have a
Oh
friend,
yeah.
or somebody else wants to buy it off your hands, or so you're essentially getting this ability to take it to like the used game store, for lack of a better term, if you want to do that. Except that land is hugely popular, right? So if you were to pick up land and then later on you're like, well, this isn't my thing, maybe you get rid of land and it doesn't, like a game would come back, if I try to take Final Fantasy VII to the shop, they'd probably give me $25 for it, whereas land, for the most part, has been going for the exact same or higher than what it was before. So it's a
Oh
really
yeah.
interesting proposition when you think about it like a traditional game, in the sandbox, except that, like you said, Alex, you can monetize these things and you can turn your creativity and your art into something that you can do for a living, possibly, depending on where or how long you want to stay in it and what you want to do. So
Sure.
let's see
Yeah, I
here.
mean, let's say you invest. I mean, I'm making up numbers because this is all before the fact. So
Sure.
these, don't take these as quotes, but as conjectures of what you could do. Let's say, price of land is, depending on which pre-sale you joined in on, more or less 45, $50. And let's say you spent to get 9 lands to get that nice 3x3 estate. So you spent close to $400, and you build a really cool game with some arcade features. So people are paying out tokens, uh, and you get good proximity. You get a lot of traffic to it. Even if you're able to join in one of our programs like the Game Maker Fund, you don't even have to uh, buy that. That gets granted to you, and you become like a freelance employee sort of with our game maker fund. So you work with us and we help promote your game. Um, I as somebody who's doing a lot of streaming for the Sandbox, I would love to promote games that people are making in our community. So you start getting people advertising your game, and
Right.
like I'm not gonna charge people to show their game on the stream that I do. I'm just gonna stream people's games in the Sandbox. Like
Yeah.
that's what I want to do.
And
So
to that effect, just yesterday I brought it up on this stream right here that this Planet Rift game is one such example of that, right? Where like
oh
this
yeah,
is not
yep.
is this correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't believe this is one of the ones that we funded with the game maker. Is that
They are a game maker fund game.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
cool,
So I,
cool.
I help review the assets for that,
Sure.
and so if you're in the game maker fund, that's you do get a land grant. You get paid to develop a game. This is the game maker fund is like an accelerator for people who want to be an indie game studio,
Very good.
basically.
Very good.
But if you want to, totally solo it, if you already bought the land, you can do whatever you want with it. And
Right.
if you get the right kind of monetization, you get say 800 people play your game for 50 cents in sand, then you made back your investment, your $400 investment to buy that 3x3
Right.
space.
Right.
And that's not an insurmountable number. I mean,
Right. That's
we've
pretty
already we've got
realistic, right? Like we've got
yeah, we
just the other
thousands of
day,
people
yeah,
are
like
hunting
I got
to buy.
I got some feedback, and I talked about this yesterday as well on multiple streams actually that we did. Got some feedback from our team that showed that on the first day of those pre-sales, we had I think 300,000 people that had
Mhm.
like viewed the page in some respect or
Right.
another, right? 300,000 page refreshes. So if that's the potential for traffic on the map, and you only need to capture 400 of those people being willing to pay a little sand, and suddenly, if they were like, hey, a buck is a buck, and they gave you that in sand, you're good, right? Your entire estate has been paid for. So as a developer, there's a ton of incentive to get in on that. But I want to hit some questions that we've had in the chat for a couple of minutes
Yeah.
now.
Mhm.
At the exact same time, it came from Twitch and YouTube from different people. It says, what's the maximum player count on multiplayer?
Last I saw was 64.
Okay,
Might
so
that may go up or down depending on optimizations.
right.
But the goal is to have 64 players in an instance of a land, but there will be multiple instances if you reach your player cap. So when you buy the land, part of what you're paying for is that server allocation. So that's uh, that's going to be like a long-term service that you get out of your purchase, is that the say you want to do a battle royale, which is kind of like maybe not as popular now as it was a year ago, but it's still very popular. Um, you get 64 people playing your map, and once you hit that cap, or once that game starts, let's say only 50 people show up and the game starts, then another instance of that land will start processing and a new lobby will fill up for that game. So it will continue to instance. And I haven't seen if there's an upward limit on instances. I don't know that back end
Sure.
part of it. But that's the goal, is to be able to get a whole bunch of people in one land at the same time. I saw there was also a question about it being in VR. So there's no plans for VR at the moment. I don't. I've seen that question come up a couple times before, but I don't think we've made any sort of advertisement towards VR. So there's the goal is that we optimize towards mobile.
Yeah.
So we're going kind of the opposite direction of VR, is we're trying to make this accessible to as many people as possible. So when we in the creator fund and the game maker fund, as we're developing assets for stuff, we think a lot about optimization of poly counts and making things as efficient as possible. So that way, when we uh, launch for mobile, more devices can be supported.
Okay, so I see a question here that I answer super often, and I'm happy to answer it because It's one of my favorite things to show off, whether it's here or on our streams on Wednesdays and Saturdays. The question is, what's the difference using an in-game perspective of a 1x1 and a 3x3 land? Every day on Wednesdays, every day on Saturdays, we are showing off building in a 1x1 land, and you see that on the screen right now. How massive is this 1x1 land? Well, down here in the bottom left, you'll see a red circle going around an avatar that stands 2 meters tall. That is tiny compared to the size of a 1x1 land. But look at how much bigger it is when we get into a 3x3. Huge. Huge. So the small estate is actually massive. So when we talk about multiplayer instancing, right? If you were to buy a 12x12 with the intention of making a 32x32, let's say, shooter game, or something to that effect, or like a melee combat multiplayer game, right? You could probably do that on a 3x3 estate. So if you own a 12x12, then you could have multiple different iterations of game types that are multiplayer like this, and instance those all separately, and have thousands of people potentially in your block, and be like a true, not just a game studio, but almost like a publisher at that point, because you'd have so many different varieties of games that you have created, whether it be you or an entire team of people. So it's super cool.
Yeah, I've seen people mention before how they're concerned about, the whales who buy up multiple 12x12s and
Sure.
uh, you know, are kind of hoarding land. And what I've seen from seeing the people who have bought those large properties, seeing them active in not only our Discord but also the Sandland meta community Discord, that some of our artists set up. They are interested in using that. They're not just hoarding this as an investment to cash out later. They want to basically become a game publisher. They want to find developers and have them working on their lands, and find artists and have them
Yeah.
creating assets. So I don't know exactly what oh, I just forgot his name. He's got the Monty Python icon on his lands.
Whale shark?
Whale shark? Whale
Yeah,
shark, yeah.
whale shark.
I don't know exactly what Whale Shark's plans are. I can't speak for him. But uh what I've seen in his conversations with other people is he's and the kind of things that he's involved in doing and creating on his end as a crypto enthusiast. Really, he's like more than an enthusiast. I mean, he's like a crypto mastermind. The kind of stuff that he's doing, he really wants to see this project flourish and get
Yeah.
fund people's creativity. And sure, yeah, he profits off of that, but he's building the community up with that too.
Yeah. Well, and I don't know. It looks like chat kind of resolved itself, but I want to address another question that I noticed earlier, and that is that if you select a land, you book the land. There is a little bit of time for you between your one booking and your requirement to click the yes, I'm going to buy it in your wallet, right? So if you're trying to book multiple different lands today, then that is possible. Just keep in mind, like, in the excitement, it's very easy to kind of go over your budget. I've seen it happen lots of times where, like, you don't think about, well, okay, I've got like 1 Ethereum and I've got like 30,000 sand and I'm going to buy 5 estates, right? You think you're going to buy 5 small estates. So you go book 5 estates super fast somehow before everyone else. And then you look at it and you go, oh, wait, okay, I actually could only afford 3 of those, right? So try to be understanding that there are a lot of people trying to book here today, and stay within your budget as much as you can. That's just kind of a nice thing. Yesterday during Wave 2, I actually did that. I didn't do it in that I overspent my budget, but I saw how fast these things were selling out, and I elected not to buy, even though I definitely want to get like 7 more small estates during this sale. I'm probably not going to get 7 more small estates during these 2 sale days, but like, I'm in the market as much as everyone else to try to make sure that I have lands for different things. Some of my lands that I purchased during this sale I'll be giving away later. Some of them, I'm going to be using for making lands. So hopefully, everybody will understand and not just like super book 7 lands that they can't afford and things like that, and make everyone wait. But also I understand like it's super exciting, right? And then since we're now just 15 minutes away, I want to remind everyone that there is a bit of a high gas fee this morning, afternoon, evening, depending on where you are in the world. So let me see if I can find the Etherscan for that. I'm going to get as close as I can. Put a gas tracker here. Okay, so the average gas that is being spent right now on a transaction is 700 Y. Okay, that means that roughly, if I was to guess the math on this, you're spending between $30 and $40 for a small estate, probably around 20, maybe 15, I don't know, on an individual piece of land. But just keep in mind that gas is up there a little bit, and as a reminder, this happens because the Ethereum network is very busy. There have been some other tokens that have been released this morning that are exclusively on DeFi, so they're all on-chain. There's no second layer on that, so all of those things that are happening on-chain keep the network busy, and GUI goes up when there aren't enough computers to process the transactions working on the ETH blockchain. So, look at that, make sure that you understand what the costs are going to be as you come into this, and if you are not comfortable paying that cost, once again, I'm going to highlight that the timer only starts the sale. The sale will continue for up to 7 days for today's group. So if you're not comfortable paying gas and the community's not comfortable paying that gas, then the lands will still be there. And they will still be exactly what they cost at the beginning of presale 4.2. You're still, for a 1x1, just paying 906 sand. The Care Bears special bundles are still selling for 2107. A 3x3 still selling for 77.73, etc. Right? So you're not, you're not missing out necessarily, except that it's going to be a little more gas if you want to get it right now today. So just keep that in mind. And again, beyond presale 4.2, we're going to continue to have presale 4 events, meaning you're getting the 10% discount. Right now, presale 4.2 ends with this little middle section right there. This section will end presale 4.2 tomorrow. And then after that, we're going to announce a presale 4.3 and potentially a 4.4 event with a bigger land group, most likely coming up in the next sale. So still getting the discounts, still have it all there. Just understand that it is a little bit more gas. Cool.
Yeah, I was just I was like, wait a minute. The gas fees have to be paid in ETH, don't they?
They do. Yes. Yes.
I'm hurriedly transferring my wallet because I'm all set with sand, and I'm like, wait, how much do I have in my
yeah
not
yeah
much.
Yep. So I guess I haven't in this week I haven't really been able to highlight the updates to the partners because I've had a lot of questions on the early couple of days on what there is, and there are still some questions in the chat that I should probably address. Let's see. So you need to put the money in your wallet first. Yes, you have to put your money in your wallet first. You have to have Ethereum in order to cover the gas fee that I mentioned, and you have to have sand, which you can acquire either via Binance. You can get it on Uniswap. You can get it on Huobi, and some other platforms. So there's a bunch of different ways to get sand right now. Sand is the primary way that you pay. And then because it happens on the Ethereum blockchain, you need a little bit of ETH to pay for the person with their computer that's processing that transaction. So let me see here. The partners that we have for this presale 4.2, we've announced Care Bears, of course. You're getting those legendary assets if you're buying the premium land spaces. And Alex has made these beautiful works. So they've got great animations throughout. There's some nice hype videos that we can watch, and I can show you that more here in just a little bit. And then, let's see, a partnership announcement that came after the presale partner announcement. CoinCheck will be featuring the Sandbox, which is like a Uniswap style, or not a Uniswap, sorry, an OpenSea.io style NFT market that opens in Japan. So that's really cool. Let's see, Community Gaming, BattleDAO is a partner for us in this sale. Harmony also. So Harmony works on layer 1 technology. And let's see, LootX is a partner. Cointelegraph, I actually worked on this one, so I'm super happy about it. Arcane Network, which is the new wallet provider that allows you social login. And then the Kyber Network is a partner as well. So a lot of cool partnerships that are coming up in this sale. And the primary one, of course, being the work that we've done here to create these legendary assets for you. You'll get one of 6 legendary Care Bears assets with each premium land that you're picking up this morning, as well as the Queen Petunia epic asset, the rare asset Baby York, and the Dibbles Bubble Blower, which Dibbles is actually my favorite asset that's on here. It's got fantastic animation looping, and it looks super cool when you look at it both in the preview on the website and on the when you look at it inside the game. In the game, it's like super seamless. You actually can't even tell that there's looping happening. It's just it's beautiful. But it's funny because it's listed as the common one, and I'm like, nah, this is amazing.
That was mostly based on size and what you can do with it. But yeah, that bubble blower. We'll break down how that works on stream sometime. We'll go into VoxEdit and we'll check that out.
Sure.
Because there's some interesting things that I had to do to get that to work.
All right.
So it
So
was very exciting.
being about 8 minutes or so away, you want to
Ooh.
make sure that, yeah, if you aren't signed in with your wallet, double check. Double check, because I have done it myself before in some of these pre-sales where I've like had to hurriedly make sure my wallet's actually signed in. It's easy to miss. So check and make sure that you're signed in with your wallet, that you've got enough Ethereum, that you've got enough sand in there as you're going. If you don't, just keep in mind that the pre-sale will continue all throughout until they're sold out, and then another one tomorrow. Let's see.
And this isn't the last pre-sale either.
No, absolutely
We're
not.
going to be doing this at some point in the future that hasn't been announced yet. So
Yes.
this will be your last chance for the Care Bears, the legendaries, but well, not your last chance. Your last chance to buy them in the pre-sale.
Yes.
There will be aftermarket trading.
Your last chance to get it at what I would assume to be the best price that you can. They're actually like even some people have tried to sell them already on third party, and I believe there's been quite a few successes, but they're much more expensive when you buy them in third party market right now. Yeah. Let's see. There's a question in here that says, "Can you buy more than one land in one transaction?" So the answer to that is not unless you buy an estate and you buy more than one in one transaction. And the reason why that is because each one of these squares that you see here on the map, right, there is what's called a smart contract drawn up for that. And that allows you to, or it allows us as the sandbox to transfer these assets to you without risk, right? So they're kind of pre-made, and each block that you click has its own smart contract for what's inside. A 3x3 is a smart contract that actually gets you 9 1x1 NFT tokens, right? The smart contract for the legendary asset is 5 NFT tokens, where one of those is land and 4 of them are Care Bears assets. So just for each one of these tiles that you click, depending on the size that it is, each one of those has its own transaction.
I see a question from Tondi here on Twitch.
Sure.
Can you make characters that are copyrighted with VoxEdit? If you have rights to the copyright. So I'm an employee of the Sandbox, and one of our partners is Care Bears. So I was able to make those because I was told to make them.
Right.
So me as an artist working for the company, like this is official Care Bears artwork that has been approved by the Care Bears office. So if you get permission from an indie game studio to do their characters on there, if you're working with somebody either as a freelancer or you're an employee somewhere, yeah, you can do copyright stuff with VoxEdit. You can publish to the platform if you have the correct permission. You can I mean, I would love to see more developers who aren't even partners with us get interested in publishing their work on the marketplace, because then people will be able to just picture like Smash Brothers, but uh it could be anybody. Like everybody gets excited when Sonic enters Super Smash Brothers, and when these other like non-Nintendo IPs start coming into Super Smash Brothers, and like that's so cool to see your favorite characters on the screen from all these different properties. Well, we can do that here, and we have like no limitations on that as long as the company that owns that property has approved for you as an artist to publish that, or if they're doing it. So any hyperlight drifter or um my brain is going blank from all the possibilities, but
Sure, sure.
any indie game, any AAA game, anybody who wants to publish on the Sandbox, they can. There's no that's open for everybody. And yeah, we would love to partner. I see somebody said Mugen. I remember that name from high
Yeah,
school.
yeah.
Uh, so this is like Mugen, but it's official. It's like this is if you talk to that company, get a hold of them on Twitter, or if you can get a hold of them through email or whatever, and you show them the art, your fan art that you made, and be like, hey, can I work with you on this? I mean, that'd be really cool if they said, but they do have to say yes. You do have to have their permission, because if a company sees their intellectual property on our platform and they didn't approve it, they're going to ask us about it and be like, hey,
Right,
what's this?
right.
And we do have mod powers to say, okay, yeah, that they like filing a copyright claim,
Yeah.
and then have to remove that from the marketplace.
And
So
and that is laid out a little bit in the TOS. So to keep that in mind, that if a copyright claim is filed against you, then it's just a little bit of sand to be able to kind of like reset things as necessary. So the mods are
yeah.
going to have the ability to do that if necessary. Hopefully, we won't have to worry about that too much. But
It does cost you in sand and catalysts and gems to publish on the marketplace. And if somebody claims that you're using their intellectual property without their permission, and we can verify that, then you will lose your sand and catalysts and gems that you paid into that. So
yeah,
it is to your benefit to have the correct written permission to say, hey, yes, I did get approval on this, if the question comes up.
yep.
Because then you'll just be wasting money to publish and then get in trouble for it.
All right.
So
So
don't do that.
if you're watching on any of the platforms that you're watching on right now, and you have more questions that you want to continue to ask, over the last couple of days, I've stayed on for about an hour after each one of these sales starts to continue to address things that you want. When the questions start to die down, that's when I will cut it off for the day. So yesterday it ended up being 48 minutes. The first day I had to cut it off at the hour because it was like super hot. Still had a lot of questions on what's going on here. So any questions that you have, please continue to ask them and we'll address them as they come through. If Alex finds himself busy and needing to go, then I would totally understand. I have a backup plan for that as well. But
I'm good for now.
okay.
You got me.
All right.
I did have to take off the jacket because it's getting
Oh,
a
I
little warm in here,
understand.
but
It's super hot. I'm hoping that people don't notice that like I'm sweating over here myself because I have to keep like I live in the Pacific Northwest and we've had a lot of fires recently, right? And so like
yeah.
the smoke is making it so I have to keep my house on lockdown.
Oh no. I was
Yeah.
I was wondering what I was going to ask you.
Okay, so SMI PATK, you can not buy two lands in one transaction because each one of those little each one of these little blocks, as you'll see them on the map here on this preview, is a smart contract. So you'll have to process two transactions if you want two singular pieces of land. But if you buy an estate, they all come as a bundle. So you'd have to be able to buy 9 or more in order to get them as a bundle. And that's just based on the way that Ethereum technology works. So the sand and the
A
ETH
couple seconds early, but I'm
automatically.
going to give a 1-minute warning.
Very good.
Because there might be a delay for people, so make sure you get that page up and ready, because it will refresh as soon as the sale starts.
It does make me sweat, Catsy. It does. We got a question that says, I sent sand and ETH to the same address. Is that correct? They should be in the same wallet. Yes. I only have one address on my Sandbox account. That should be how it is. You should always be sending all ERC-based tokens to only just one address ever. Making multiple wallets ends up confusing a lot of people. Until you've done it for a couple of years, I would never recommend having two wallets. Will you create 3x3 premium for the next sales? I don't believe so, but nothing's set in stone. Nothing's set in stone. I don't believe there's a 3x3 premium on the horizon, though. That's just my personal thoughts. Butterflies going on. Well, hey, you got 13 seconds to shake off your butterflies. It's about to get real. Alex is like, I see him. He's getting there. He's like, I'm gonna get some land today. We're getting this land.
I didn't. I should have saved that link.
Time's up.
Somebody just asked about how to get land, but I don't have time to grab that YouTube link.
Moon, I'm gonna tell you in just a few minutes here. We're all very excited. All right, it hits 0. There's probably it says join now. You don't have to click that. You don't have to refresh. It does take a second for everything to pop through. There's a lot of people online right now, I can assume, as there has been in the last couple of days. Connection loss is not real. You're getting that new information right now. It's weird basically what it's saying is like, hey, we've updated the whole website, right? And so it refreshed in the background, as I had mentioned before. On the first day, there was like a minute or so before you could start to see the lands. Now and you could see it kind of going off. There must be a lot of people here today. It's weird because gas is higher, right? Like it's a good thing. It's a good problem to have. But from what I've seen with this, our dev team has done a great job, and we've made it still more reliable than, say, like a Blizzard or something. I've been there for their game launches and waited quite a few hours to get into access, and it'll pop through in a few seconds. So there we go. You can see one right there.
I'm watching the. Oh, there it goes.
Yep. You see him turn blue on the 1.
It got very quiet.
Oh, it got very quiet because I was in the zone, Alex. I was like, I gotta get it. Gotta get an estate today. I want to use that estate for giveaways. Okay, let's see. Let's see what's going on here. Have a look-see. Got one that says booked. My wallet. I want to make sure that transaction was requested. It is pending currently. There's a lot of people trying to get those lands all at the same time. So if you are watching and you're saying, hey, look, they're all booked, right? Because it's basically all gone already. Like I'm looking at it right now.
It's so purple.
Yep. It's very, very purple, right? And they are loading fast. All estates taken. That's okay.
I got one.
Ex Shinra, I'll tell you what happened, right? And this is the struggle, right? It doesn't and I want to address all of the possible ways that we've considered this. So usually right after everything turns purple, I go over this every day. Here are the considerations that the team has made in the past, and we've done it in a lot of different ways, right? In this particular presale, we have it broken down into these 4 chunks because in the last presale, we offered, and I'll scroll up to it, this block of lands, right? And this block of lands is 4,500 lands that was sold all at the same time. And it went very fast, similar to this. And there was a little bit more time for things to load, obviously, because there's quite a bit more lands, right? And we offered them all at once. But for somebody like me, that lives in the United States or Canada or Mexico, most of South America, right? That sale was super early in the morning. For me in particular, I think this one, 4.1, happened at 2 a.m., right? So in order to help facilitate those people who live in different regions across the world that might have been at work, or they might have been, like myself, asleep, as if I was a reasonable person, which I'm definitely not. I was totally there for pre-sale 4.1. Those sales happen a little differently. So in this sale, right, we can wake up at a normal time and have an opportunity to get in. But there's less lands in this sale, right? Or at least this morning's sale. There's more available tomorrow. And you can see the timer up there. It says 1 day, 1 hour, 55 minutes. So 2 hours from now, roughly tomorrow, you're going to have another opportunity to do this 26 hours away. And so what what you're seeing, right, is that it's difficult to get in because there's less available every day. And definitely, like, we understand that. But in order to facilitate people who might have had to go to work and would have had a 0% chance, we've done it this way. And the next land sale, early conversation we're having is we want to make sure that there's going to be a lot more land available in, and we might do it in waves like we have here, but if nothing else, there'll probably be more waves. But I'm going to guess, and this isn't confirmed, but I'm going to guess we'll do it as a big bulk one like we did 4.1, and then maybe we'll revert to one like this for 4.4 if we have one of those, right? There's still, obviously, there's potential to even maybe do all of it. I don't know exactly. We haven't worked it out yet, but I know that we hear you for sure, that it's crazy to try to get in. However, I'm looking at this here, and I just want to kind of highlight this super cool feature as we're looking at this. I mentioned earlier that when they actually process on the blockchain, they validate, they confirm, right? They're turning green. And you're seeing it happen live, right? Like, I know this is confirmed. This is owned by Trung because they processed the transaction on chain. They paid for it. You can see that payment has validated on chain now, right? And mine actually hasn't. I tried to get this one down here. It looks like it's booked by me, and that's good. But the lands that are confirming on chain are turning green now. And I'm gonna go ahead for the sake of it. I'm gonna refresh this. See what. Okay, it still gives me that. It loads pretty fast when I hit the refresh button. You'll notice that, like, all the images came in quickly and those other things. But all these squares that are still purple, there's a chance that these aren't going to validate. So that means that if they don't validate, or somebody didn't have enough gas or they didn't have enough sand to process that transaction, you'll still have a chance. So wait around, watch the map. If you see one turn gray, click on it, click buy. You know what I mean? Like, if you're still looking to buy right now. Some of those that turn gold color, that's like when they turn gray, except they include the Care Bears assets, like this one here. It's booked by Hidalgo kids, but maybe they don't have enough sand. Maybe they don't have enough ETH to process that transaction. So, like, right there, that one just turned gray. There was a buy button for like a quarter of a second. I totally could have clicked it, right? So you see what that's like. It's still, obviously, it's busy. There's a lot of people who are still interested. Clearly, there's a lot of people who didn't mind that the gas was high, even though we all understand that the gas was high. Hondi in the bottom right. Let's see. Oh, hey, there's one that was open for a quarter of a second. You see that? And that got swooped up real quick. Right. I'm right. Robert.
Yeah, I was able to grab was it negative 112 by 23 right underneath the sandbox there.
Okay.
I don't, it's not confirmed yet. It's still working on it.
Okay. As booked by Kamisauze. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And you could see some of those yellow ones just opened up. So those are people who never essentially opened up their wallet to make sure that they confirm that transaction. And as fast as they open up, they're gone because people are starting to kind of get the feel for it. Maybe you're listening on the stream right now and you've been on top of that. And a lot of them are turning green again. So those on-chain transactions are processing. I assume these are the people who kind of had like an average GUI rate. They didn't necessarily go with the fast one. I also chose to go average GUI on this particular sale. So it may take a while for mine to process on-chain. We'll see what happens here. Oh, you can see those rendering.
A lot of green filling up.
Yep. Yeah, so Jade, if it says there was a problem preparing the land for a purchase, that means that you and someone else essentially clicked that land and clicked buy at the exact same second. And then it kind of comes down to who had the faster internet. And so, yeah, and I mentioned that I was going to kind of go over this, so I want to go dig deep into this now. So we've addressed a lot of different possibilities for how we want to do these sales. Some people have proposed that we do maybe an auction for that, right? And it was determined by the team that the auction was probably not the best method because then it only caters to the people with the most money, right? And that doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to get the best product. And, you know, it's just not generally fair. I think most people would agree that the people with the most money shouldn't necessarily be able to buy land first or what have you, right? Some people have also proposed the idea of a lottery. And a lottery kind of does the same thing as far as what we've been able to determine, right? The people with the most lottery
Survival
tickets
chance.
could get more chances to buy the land, right?
Mm.
Um, there was also a possibility that we've discussed for the idea of like random draw. And but random draw has its own potential negatives that we've gone over it in a bunch of different ways. Because let's say that you randomly drew uh, this land, right? But someone else randomly drew the land that touched the sandbox, and you feel like you would have preferred to touch the sandbox, right? So in that way, random draw is kind of an unfair possibility, right? So ultimately, we've explored like a lot of different options and a lot of different ways, and we try to maintain flexibility with that and constantly this is actually why Alex, when he mentioned earlier the next pre-sale, and we've said like it's not set in stone because we're going to take what we learned from this pre-sale and we're going to adjust and try to make sure that it's as fair as possible for the community. Also, somebody brought up with me the other day, just a regular user, they said, hey, what about the idea of pre-purchase? And in kind of a plain way, pre-purchase would be exactly like what we're doing here, except that you don't actually get the NFT. Because pre-purchase would still cater to the person that could click the button fast enough on the like ticket system or what have you. It'd be kind of like if you try to buy a concert ticket to a super popular band online, and then like you get in 2 minutes, it's sold, right? So we're exploring a lot of different options and trying to maintain flexibility as we go, but we do definitely want to make sure that you have an opportunity to pick it up. And presale 4 is going to continue. Even if you don't get something in the presale 4.2 event, you're going to have an opportunity with the extra outlined white space here in the what I'll call the south. So there's another 9,000 land that is unaccounted for after this presale, and that'll continue to be offered with the 10% discount. So yeah. Let me see if I can find some questions and comments in the chat as we go here. What do you think, Alex? I see yours hasn't confirmed on chain yet. Mine didn't either.
Nope. It says it just says pending.
Yep.
But the fact is that it's booked, and I went with the recommended gas price.
Right.
So
Did the same.
yeah, it might just it actually says estimated confirmation duration is 3 hours.
Sure.
So I don't know if I click on I don't think I can up that, can I?
If you're
Through MetaMask?
you can through MetaMask if you're impatient. I am often impatient.
The
You
speed
can
up button.
you can go into your MetaMask, I assume on other wallets, and then click on the Ethereum, and then it'll show you. It'll say contract interaction pending,
Woo!
and there's a little speed up button. And if you
Ooh, I
click
can speed
speed
it
up,
to slow for $18.
yeah. So yeah, like these transactions are expensive for $18 for a
That
one
will
by one.
that will
Oh, you
that'll
got one of
put
the
it up
good
to
ones. You
slow.
want the ones with the. Oh,
Yeah.
did you get? Oh, I'm gonna look at your land now because I remember you saying. So the asset included with your land, Alex, if you didn't know, is Hero
Is hero.
Cheer Bear.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I did see
So
that.
I
I
know you
wasn't able
wanted
I
the
was trying
ancient
to
one.
find the elder.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was trying to find him, but I could see I could see the writing on the wall in purple as it all started filling
Yeah.
up, and I was like, I'm just gonna go with what I can.
Yep. Yep.
And
Well, if somebody's interested in a trade, if they prefer the Hero Cheer Bear, I actually really like Hero Cheer Bear, but I don't. I'm more interested in having the bulk of land to be able to do giveaways and things like that with.
yeah.
So anyway,
Somebody did offer to trade me their elder bear already,
oh,
so
very good. That'd be super cool.
so
I think
hopefully they're happy with the cheer bear.
pretty sure Hero Cheer Bear is the coolest. It has a cape, and if you disagree, then I guess that's your opinion. You can be wrong.
For me, it's all about the kneecaps.
The kneecaps, interesting.
Fun Funshine and Ancient Elder Bear have extended lower legs that go up over the knees for kneecaps, and I
Oh,
just
very
think that
good.
looks cool. I was just really happy with those designs, so
Oh no!
I mean, I like
Oh,
all
I
the.
hope that didn't break it. Oh my.
Oh, did the speed up fail?
Um,
It did for me too. I clicked the speed up and it was like, nope. But it's still pending the
anybody
regular.
see me
Oh,
sweating? What?
wait. What am I looking at? It says something success. Is this? Did it finish?
Oh, I don't know if I broke it. I don't know if I broke it. I'm stressed.
I'm seeing a success message, but I don't remember what this tab on Etherscan was for, and I don't I can't just read the
I'm
tab.
stressed. Stressed. Uniswap, you're killing me, Smalls. All these transactions per second that have congested the network this morning. I'm stressed and you can see it on my face. I'm kidding. You know what? If I lose the estate, hey, the estate at -126,6. If you're still looking for an estate, there's like a small % chance that transaction's just gonna fail because I tried to speed it up, but I might have broke it.
Oh no.
So hover the location. You could probably snipe it from under me.
Which what was that address again? Show it.
That's -126,6. It's the purple like stack of 3 in the middle bottom there to the right of the sandbox location. It would be the bottom one. So if my transaction fails, that's going to open and somebody else might have a chance to book that out from under me. And I'm not going to stress about it too much, but also like,
Ooh,
give me my estate. So this is the life though. No, really. Okay, let me see here. This how much does it cost the 1x1 parcel? So they're going 1x1 parcel that doesn't have any Care Bears assets in it, any of the legendary assets would cost 906 sand plus the cost of gas. The gas transaction. So that's gas transaction is varied right now. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I went for a medium-sized one. I went medium-sized. I wouldn't call it big. I definitely had enough to get a 6x6 today, and I kind of wanted to do that during this pre-sale and like break it up into different games and things like that. But then, I see how many there are, and oh no, my transaction. Alex, it looks like you confirmed. That's really cool. Am I right? Am I seeing you?
Did it? Oh,
yeah,
it did.
you did.
Yeah, I was looking at it just 10 seconds ago, and it still said booked.
Yep, mine still says booked. Anyway, so we've got for the premium land with the NFT assets, you got 2107. You've got 7773 for a small estate like this here that comes with 9 NFT lands inside. So different prices there. Da 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 da. Oh, I sure it approves. Yours approved after it said failed. Is that right, Alex?
It failed the speed up.
Okay. Yeah.
So
Oh,
I
fair
clicked
enough. Fair
speed
enough.
up and
Yeah.
it failed to do that.
Yeah.
Maybe because it was so close to being done already. I don't know.
Yeah, that could be.
Um.
Okay, what's your question? How can I help? I say it says somebody help. We help you. I'm here for you.
Just ask the question.
We are here for you. Going to be here for possibly the next 45 minutes, depending on how many questions are coming through, or if anybody wants to know more about the sandbox, we're here for you. Moving good luck one. Nice.
Help.
I need somebody. How do you ask a company for permission to create Argub? Okay, yeah. So the answer to that is actually easier than you think. Most companies have at the bottom of their websites an about section or a contact form or a contact email where you can reach out and say, hey, my name is blah, I'm representing such and such, and I'm interested in doing ask, whatever that is, right? And sometimes you don't get an answer. Sometimes you'll get the answer very quickly, depending on what kind of company that it is, what their infrastructure is for fielding those answers. So if there's a copyright protected material that you want to say, hey, I'm producing a game for, that's probably the best way to do it. Yeah. Okay, so it says you have 15K sand, but when you try to buy it, it says too low ETH. Yes, the reason why that is And the answer to your question is that today, in particular, there is a ton of transactions going out on the Ethereum blockchain. Another company that also processes their transactions through decentralized finance on the Ethereum blockchain has released approximately between 100 million and 250 million tokens today. They release them 400 tokens at a time, which has severely congested the network. So it's taking a little bit of time for all these transactions to process. You can actually even see here on stream that many of our our transactions that we're all trying to pay are taking longer. But what that also means is that gas fees are higher today. So you may have had enough ETH yesterday that you may not have enough ETH today to process the transaction on chain. When the network is less congested, then you would be having a lesser gas, essentially, right? And I went over that at the very beginning of this stream. So as soon as we finish, if you want to know the process and what like the deep dive is on that, I showed people kind of what it looks like inside your wallet to change the amount of gas that you pay to do transactions, and more gas results in a faster transaction time. So you can review that then. The question comes in, says, do you have to book land then pay for it before you can book another land? Or can you book 2 lands and pay? Trevor, you can book multiple lands. However, keep in mind that you are booking the lands and you don't have enough funds to pay for them, then, you know, that's is what it is.
Yeah, 'cause you won't necessarily see the fee coming out of your wallet immediately,
right?
because it has to process. So you're clicking book, and your Ether wallet doesn't immediately take that out. So
Right.
it's very. I did this actually on a previous pre-sale. I was like, oh yeah, get that, and I'm gonna get that, and I'm gonna get that, and I think the third one that I clicked actually failed because I was like $3 under
Right.
or over budget rather.
Right. Right.
And so it was just like, you don't have the gas. Never mind.
Yeah. And then, Trevor, if you had, it says here you tried it, you booked it, but only one went through and the wallet never came up for the second one. Triggered! No! No! Action run! No!
I saw it happen.
Oh, that was so fast. Good job. Congratulations. Congratulations. Oh.
That was a snipe. Like, I didn't even see it change yellow. I just saw the name change on it.
Hey, you see me dying, right? Oh.
Oh, no.
Well, congratulations. You got yourself a beautiful estate. I totally set you up for picking that up. I appreciate you. Don't worry, I got a couple of them. I ended up getting a second one from a booking failing on the first sale. So I'm not even stressed about it. Congratulations to you. So yeah, the wallet never came up for the second one. What that basically, if that happens, you can manually open your wallet. It's like I know very deeply MetaMask because I use it all the time. It's integrated into my Brave browser and whatever, right? I'm throwing down all these brand names right now. But you open it, you click Ethereum. Whoa. Yes.
A whole bunch of land just opened up, like
oh yeah,
10.
Probably all the ones that were pending before, but like mine, right? That never processed on chain because people didn't do enough gas. Oh yeah, they're almost gone already. Yeah, it's crazy how that happens. But yeah, like if you didn't have enough gas for the on chain, then eventually the chain rejects it because we're like too far beyond the nonce, which is what it's called when you get like X number of transactions on the chain pending. Anyway, so if you open up your MetaMask and you click on Ethereum, you're going to see all the pending transactions that would require gas to pay for. And you can manually click those and you can approve them. So if you book like 2, 3, 5, 7, whatever, go in there. If you only see one pop up, you're supposed to see one for every booking. So go into your wallet after you're done doing your bookings and then click each one and approve each one. And if you happen to be in there and you see, oh, I'm out of money, then click decline and it will open it up for someone else to be able to book. Let's see.
There's like it looks like a Christmas tree right now. It's flashing yellow, and by the time the buy land thing pops up, it's already gone.
So
my internet's too slow.
Hey, okay, KV first. You a follow-up question to earlier. It says it costs 906 Sand, but when I try to pay, it says that I need ETH. So the reason why that is because each one of these lands that is being sold is sold inside of an Ethereum smart contract. So this is important because it means that you don't have to trust necessarily the Sandbox as a company in order to know that when you pay the sand, that you're going to get the product, right? So you exchange the 906 sand and then Ethereum gas fee to process the transaction on chain, or to process the smart contract to say, yes, I gave them sand, and yes, they gave me land. So you pay the gas fee to manage that transaction. And then people with computers like mine and yours that are miners of Ethereum process the transaction in exchange for the gas that you paid. So that's why it says that you need a little bit of ETH in order to do it. Sand is our primary token that we use here in the Sandbox. It's used for quite a lot of functions, including paying for land. But you need a little ETH to process anything on Ethereum blockchain. Let's see here.
I've clicked on like 10 yellows that have popped up, and like
Gone
8 of them
immediately, right?
have been ancient elder bears.
Oh,
But
really?
by the time I click buy,
It's gone.
it's too late.
Yeah. There's a lot of people here, man. And that's the thing, right? Like, there's another yellow one just popped up. It's gone. Right? Like that fast.
Mr.
And
Pew.
yeah. Like, I get it. You know, there's a lot of people trying to buy, including us right here. You can see, you know, we're living just like everybody else, getting our lands where we can, when we can, but we understand it is super popular. And in the next pre-sale event that we have, we're very likely to open up more lands all at once. But this week, these land sales are made specifically to be in different time slots, but still using that 4,500 total land block from pre-sale 4.2. So we have these different time slots to give people the chance that may have had to go to work or may have been asleep, things like that. So let's see here.
And I see Justin Kwan asks if you need to click fast. Yes, but you also hopefully your internet is fast, because I'm clicking less than a second after these pop up usually.
Yeah.
And by the time it loads the button for me to try to buy, it's already gone.
Right.
So that's it's everything's got to be fast.
And yeah, and not only does your internet have to be fast, I would suggest, but your computer also gives you a little bit of an advantage, like if you have a really good computer. And I can tell because the computer that I use for the live stream here is about half as fast as a computer that I use for like my gaming or intense like rendering of things, right? So this PC, I noticed, saw it turn yellow. And like I went to click it over here. That one turned yellow like a quarter of a second later. It was already gone. X Shinra was on it, right? Like they were like, quarter of a second? That's all I needed, buddy. I got it, right? So, yes, Justin Kwan, that is true. It costs like 800 Gwei right now. So I'm going to go back to that if I can here. I go to the Ethereum Gas Tracker. And it's actually not as bad as it was just a few minutes ago. The average transaction is down to 541 Gwei, which is 3 times higher than it was a few days ago, but relatively speaking, definitely down from 800 to get a 30-second transaction. So the reason why this is happening, and I highlighted it earlier, is that 20% of these transactions are happening on Uniswap v2. Uniswap token distributor, this is the critical one. They are distributing a token today, and we're not necessarily going to change our business model to reflect theirs. But right now I can see that they still have distributing 84 million tokens, 400 tokens at a time. So this process will probably continue with high gas fees based on the math I did earlier for the next roughly 22 hours. You'll expect to see high gas fees on the Ethereum blockchain because they're distributing 400 tokens at a time. These like 100 plus million. I think it started at 250 million, something like 12 hours ago. So maybe it was less than that. I don't know exactly. Yeah. So, Plank. Yeah. I mean, it was an unlikely chance. That's for sure. But some people definitely did get some, and there's still some that haven't confirmed on chain. You can see that one just turned yellow right there. Boop. It's gone. Booked by Mr. Pew. So stick with it. There's another one. Boop. Available. Gone. Jed Muro. Right. So if you're in the chat and you're still watching, You have an opportunity. It's unlikely, but it's an opportunity nonetheless, is what I would say. We've got tomorrow as well. In 1 day, 1 hour, 30 minutes, another group will come up. So here for that, you'll have another opportunity again. Hopefully tomorrow the gas fees will be less than today. And I think that we're more likely to have some of these bookings canceled based on the overall cost of the gas fee. So if gas doesn't bother you so much, you probably will have a chance up and go from there. If this experience is not for you, you also have an opportunity to pick up lands on third-party markets like OpenSea, where historically speaking, you can get some unique land price opportunities. And I say it like that with intent. So I don't know if you all were in the cryptocurrency market back in March of this year, but during March of this year, all the lands that we sold before pre-sale 4.2 were selling for Ethereum, right? So some lands that we had sold in February were listed on OpenSea, right? And in March, the price of one Ethereum token dropped dramatically. But people had already had some lands listed on OpenSea at a set Ethereum price, right? So the price of Ether drops dramatically, and as an opportunist myself, I see that land had costed less than it cost in the pre-sale, ultimately, because Ether dropped, right? I went in with some Ether that I had recently purchased and picked up some land cheap. It was one of
Like
very few
in the
times.
night.
Yeah, exactly. Like, it was great. I felt really happy about it, obviously. I think one or two of those I used for just giveaways because I was like, this is great. Here we go. Enjoy, you know. But it doesn't necessarily end here. It doesn't necessarily end on a pre-sale. You just have to be kind of more aware of the overall cryptocurrency markets sometimes to find a unique sale opportunity like that. And also, when I see something like that, I tend to share it out on my social media. Like, hey, this is a big discount. About 2 weeks before these pre-sales started, we had a similar situation where Ethereum dropped again, and the listings were about $1 more than what they are right now for a 1 by 1 piece of land. And I thought, like, hey, sure, it's not the exact same prices you can get on a pre-sale, but reasonable. And those people didn't even have to think about this, right? So
There's a couple questions in the chat I want to get to, but quick question for me to you.
yeah,
To the far right of the map, that
yeah.
icon, that crate in the icon. Are those what I
Which
think those are?
which icon? Hold up.
The to the right of the sandbox,
This one?
the northern sandbox.
You mean these
Well, you're
party hats?
you're are those party hats from RuneScape?
It's party hats from Inkscape.
Those are party hats from RuneScape.
It
It's
is.
just it's funny because we were talking about that a couple days ago.
We were
So
talking about it, right? Because it's a unique collectible. So Alex, during our live streams over the last couple of weeks, and for quite a lot longer than I was there, has been giving away NFT assets that were printed to the blockchain, or minted on the blockchain, as it's called, back in December of 2019. And those assets, as Alex and I were talking, I thought about it, and from my perspective, they would be, especially down the road, some of the most rare assets that you could possibly ever collect for the Sandbox,
oh yeah.
because they are the
Even
first
the
ones.
quantities are lower than what they do now. So
Right.
so the legendary the max quantity and the default quantity for a legendary right now is 200.
Yeah.
On the first pre-sale, the quantity for a legendary was 1, and the legendary assets sold
Oof.
for something like
I
$1,000.
remember that. Yeah.
It was a Eiffel Tower, I think.
Yeah. And then there was
Um,
one that they had 5 quantity of that was like $800, and it was like this really cool mech police robot. Is that right?
yep.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that might have actually it was either 5 or 1 of that also.
Yeah. There were
I don't remember.
very few, but I thought,
Very rare item.
okay, so let's see here.
There were 2 questions in the chat that I
Yeah.
saw. Pacho Moya, from what is this, Periscope, asks, do we create wearables, or can you sell wearables? So, yes, there are going to be wearables. The system is not, fully implemented yet. You can kinda see it a little bit if you watch us on live stream. You'll see that, the avatar is usually holding a sword. That's not actually part of the avatar model. That's actually an equipped item. And in the game maker, we can change some settings around. And in 0.2, which was the current version, which is it's about to move to 0.3 for the alpha of the game maker. You can manually set a single equipable item. So we have headgear, um, body gear like chest piece or backpack, arms, legs, and shield hand and sword hand.
Sure.
And you can do a variety of different things with that. So we could make hats, we can make helmets, we can make backpacks, we can make shirts, whatever. So the avatar system is being implemented. I'm not sure if it's going to be in 0.3 or maybe 0.35, but it is coming out very soon. You'll get to see that on live streams very, very soon. And equipables is going to be a big thing. And I did see that question earlier in the chat, and I missed the chance to get to that. So hopefully whoever asked that before
Sure.
also heard that. So yes, equipables, wearables, definitely a thing here. Other question from Justin Kwan on YouTube. What is the value of the Sandbox? And you're kind of new to all this. So the Sandbox is a whole game creation platform. So the value of this land that people are buying is the ability to publish your games online in a way that people can play multiplayer. You as a developer can monetize on that, and you will get multiverse traffic to your land. So being in proximity to other games, people can jump borders and access your game organically instead of Googling whatever your game idea is. There are going to be people who just kind of wander to your game and go like, "Oh, cool, what is this?"
Yeah.
They'll be playing an Atari, and then they'll go like, "Oh, hey, there's this door here to the next land over, and this game looks cool." So you're going to get traffic that way. So that's really the value of publishing to the metaverse on this map. This is why people are buying this land, is that the ability to create on this platform in an accessible to players way and a profitable way for the developers. And that's really the value of the land here. You will be able to share single player experiences, and we're working on a gallery system where people will be able to find your stuff from the Sandbox website. But those single player experiences, you won't have the multiplayer, you won't have the monetization, you won't have the organic metaverse traffic, but there are still free opportunities for people in that. That was my spiel.
All right. Okay, so I want to answer one of the questions here. It says, I don't understand Etherscan. Okay, so Etherscan is essentially just a way to monitor every transaction that happens on the Ethereum network.
Everything.
Literally everything. It's fully transparent. Like, you can see how much money I have in my wallet if you know my wallet code and exactly what tokens are in there, right? So it's very transparent. That's all it is, right? So there was a second part to that question, however, that says, can I turn my sand to ETH on Etherscan? So no, not on Etherscan specifically. However, there are many different ways to turn sand in one way or another to ETH if you need to. One way that you can do it that doesn't cost Ethereum is you can use a primary, like, traditional style exchange like a Binance or Huobi, and transfer your sand into an account on Binance or Huobi, and you can take that sand and you can trade it for US dollars, and then you can trade the US dollars for Ethereum. So it's a multi-step process, right? Once you have Ethereum on your Binance or Huobi account, you can then send that back to yourself. Send it out of the exchange and into your wallet. So if you need a little bit of Ethereum and you have a lot of sand, that's one way to do it, right? Another way to do it, if you already have Ethereum, is you can do it on decentralized finance exchanges like Uniswap. Uniswap has a trade straight up for Ethereum changes to sand. Sand changes to Ethereum. However, all of those transactions happen on the blockchain, just like our transactions here today when you tried to buy land. So you need a little bit of Ethereum in order to make those trades happen. So that's important to understand. Let's see here.
So there was a question here about from Plankzilla, traffic being equal across the map, or is
Yeah.
it better to be in the middle? So our solution to what people were wondering about is there any reason to exist on the outer edges of the world, is that there's going to be portals and hubs. So there will be the ability to travel quickly to other areas of the map. So there's no true outer edge.
Yeah,
Uh, there's just places that are further in between hubs.
sure.
um,
Sure. And with
so
regards to that
yeah.
that answer there, and that's a great answer to that. You can see on the map here that we previewed you in the Medium article. This little, like, I don't know, I guess I want to call it like a letter D or something. It's our portal logo, right? So all of
It's supposed
those,
to be a door.
yes, it's kind of like an Ender portal or something in a Minecraft or something like that. Like, the design is definitely there. So when you see these little purple logos on these preview maps, you know that during these pre-sales, those are areas which will have portals in them. So this is, in the case of what you can see on the main map right now, you can actually see that these are labeled Sandbox. And then this is a Care Bears land, right? The Care Bears land is advertised to have some portals in it or operate like a social hub. And then these sandbox spaces are projected to be social hubs. It's not set in stone. The designs can be different from one sandbox land to another. But as it is now, you'll find teleporters in there that can take you to other places in the metaverse, locally, further away, what have you. Later on in development, the team is considering potentially selling portals. So if you need one or feel like you want one to go from one of your estates or one of your lands to go to the next one, you can have like kind of levels in your space, then portals can be an option for a regular user, but that's not on the immediate portion of our roadmap. That is a later development. So, but definitely something that we're considering to do in the future. Let's see.
There was another question from Justin Kwan. Unless the Sandbox publishing their own blockchain, I think trading in-game items would cost a lot of ETH. Well, we're working on that.
Yes.
You want to talk about I almost said two-factor authentication.
Yeah, layer 2. Yeah. So right now, built into the website, if you're on sandbox.game, where you see the map, right? On the left side of your screen, and I can show you here, there's this button that says shop, right? So when I click shop, this is the marketplace. And right now, the marketplace doesn't have things that we can buy and sell and trade. But scheduled in Q3 will be the feature for player-to-player trades on the website, right? So what does that mean? Once player-to-player trading is integrated on the website, all of your sand transactions can be sent peer-to-peer using Pixel as a kind of a middleman, right? So traditional style exchange that's not trading NFTs is doing the same thing. So when you're on Binance, for example, and you trade US dollars to buy sand, you're doing all of these transactions, but the US dollars and the sand already exist in a wallet on Binance. So there's no on-chain transaction happening, and it helps you avoid those gas fees. And when you try to take your money out of Binance, you're putting it then on-chain, right? So what we'll try to do here, and you can see it on the, it's in the detailed in the white paper. It's in here. I believe it's on this sand tokens. Yeah, this picture right here. Sand smart contract. So I'm going to open this image in a new tab so I can zoom in just a little bit on that. I got to grab keyboard number 2 because that's my life. Okay, so this is called relayering, right? And so it says send a signed message, including the amount of sand to execute to the server. That's step 1, right? Step 2 is Pixel is taking a bundle of these transactions, as we assume that there's going to be multiple transactions happening at once. We're taking that, and we are sending the transaction using Pixel's wallet to the blockchain. So instead of you and Alex and me, all three, sending different transactions and each eating a different gas fee, we can put them all together into one big transaction, and then Pixel sends it, and Pixel is in the moment sending the gas fee. So optimistically, you could say gas doesn't exist. Realistically, you could say maybe the three of us are cutting gas into different parts. So this isn't a fully designed system yet. I don't know exactly how layer 2 integration is going to work. However, I do know that we have intention to do it, and we're exploring multiple different partnerships to make this possible. So it's scheduled to come out in Q3. I could ask the dev team about it, but I'm gonna let.
And it's highly in demand. This isn't like
Right.
we're thinking about it.
Yeah.
This is
Right.
like we recognize the need for this
Exactly. Like
is
when you see something like
on
today,
all levels.
when the gas goes super high, right? We want to try to have this layer 2 to help mitigate that as much as possible. So as that comes down and we get more information, you'll be the first to know, right? Either here on our streams or through the telegrams, the discords, the social medias, all those things. So always sharing somewhere.
Because these fees, they don't just affect users and purchasers. This also affects the development team, because when we minted the Care Bears, the assets for this event, we had to mint the catalysts, which determine the rarity. We had to mint the gems that determine the attributes for the assets, and then we had to mint all of the assets and mint the land that they're all going to. So there's a whole lot of minting happening, and Ether went up right before the minting process started. So the cost of minting all the Care Bears stuff for this sale for people to purchase is it's not just expensive with the gas fees right now for people buying. It was also expensive for the dev team to pay the minting fees to get these in on the blockchain in the first place, more expensive than the previous pre-sale. So the uh, it's all the way up to like the COO and CEO are very aware that
Yeah.
that this is not necessarily a cheap thing. That's just kind of like a a few cents here, whatever. It's not like Bill Gates going, well, I don't know how much a box of detergent costs. I haven't bought one in 40 years.
Yeah.
This is they're right here with us,
Right.
paying the gas fees as they mint this stuff for you
Right.
guys to buy. So
Yeah.
uh, they want this as much
Definitely,
as you to go
definitely
down in
aware
price.
of it and addressing it as fast as humanly possible.
Yeah.
So I'm going to answer a question here in the chat. It says, "Here's the thing: I have sand and ETH on my wallet that I deposited here. How do I withdraw the sand to exchange it later to ETH in Binance?" Okay, so the answer to that question is that when you click sign in for the first time, right? Rather than clicking "I have an account" or what have you, right? The first time that you signed in, you probably clicked one of these buttons. It says "Continue with your wallet" or "Social." Log in with these or connect your wallet with Bitsky, right? Each one of these relates to a different wallet service. So if you're using the center icons to log in with social, you're having an Arcane wallet. An Arcane wallet, if you Google it, you can sign in with your Arcane wallet on their website, just like you signed in with it here. And if you do that on that website, it's the same wallet. Like we actually don't have a wallet. You always have the wallet, and our website just reads that wallet, right? So you don't have your funds put into the Sandbox website. You have your funds in your wallet. So you can go to Arcane, or you can go to Bitsky, or you can go to your MetaMask, and you'll be able to see your funds there, and you can transfer them wherever you want. The only thing that our website does is just read it. So if I was to show you my other computer, I could see my balance in the top right now, but that balance is also displayed inside my MetaMask account there. So hopefully that answers your question.
Uh, our Goob from YouTube, I see you're asking about if there's a date on the NFTs, and there is not one that's visible on the Sandbox website. However, I don't know if I think OpenSea might show you it'll show you they call it the day it was born, I think.
Oh yeah,
Uh,
yeah, that does happen.
so
I'm gonna
I don't
go
know.
to I'm gonna go to an asset and pull it up right now.
Yeah.
Okay, so
So
let's see. I'll click on this mummy enemy. It's one of the least expensive assets that you can buy on OpenSea right now. And then let me down here. It has had multiple owners, right? Buddy bought 10 of them
yeah,
once.
OpenSea will actually track
And
the
at the very bottom, oh yeah, okay. There's events. Events are going to be where it'll actually be tracked, and it shows you how often it gets traded. And some people have transferred it around. They've sent it to each other. There have been sales started, and it's been sold at different rates. All the way at the bottom, I assume I'm going to get it. Looks like this is a very popularly traded asset in particular. Okay,
Mm.
it started sale in cat a month ago, so maybe there's a point where it kind of times out. But I know that there are definitely origination dates, but maybe OpenSea doesn't track it all the way back. That's interesting.
Hmm.
Or if there's a way to
I
see
know
it.
that on MetaMask it'll show the birth date for lands. You might be able to pull up the Etherscan address for a particular NFT
Yeah,
if you view it on. I think there's a link to view it on Etherscan.
if I just click in cat, no, that just takes me to OpenSea. So, um, I'm sure that there's
Yes
a
and
way to
no.
find it. Yeah, I'm sure there's a way to
The
find it on
data's
an
there.
Etherscan because the Etherscan does show the NFTs, but you really have to dig deeper down in. Like if I look right now, I bet you somebody has probably listed a piece of land from the last couple of days, something like that. And if that's the case, then I can show you what it looks like when it's just been born.
Mhm.
Um, and you'll see
Well,
that.
you might be able to see that with the bears
Yeah, here's
already.
an estate that's near the sandbox.
So Goob, that's a key feature of blockchain and one of the reasons why the Sandbox and other NFT projects have started and like the entire reason they exist is because people are interested in placing a real value on digital items.
Right.
So it
Some of those. Oh,
without the ability
these are
to
still unlocking, Alex. I apologize for interrupting. I'm just watching it, and I'm like, because I want to go click it, and then I'm like, it's already gone.
yeah, there's like 10 left there that haven't
Yeah,
confirmed.
yeah.
I gave up
I'm
on
still
those
hype.
last
I can't
few.
get over it. I'm sorry.
I got my one, and I can
Yeah.
trade for my
Oh, very good.
ancient bear.
Yeah. Sorry about that.
Um, so yeah, the it's not the whole point of blockchain, but a key feature of blockchain is being able to trace the origin and all the transactions that have happened for whatever thing you're looking at. So,
Sure.
in the case of artwork, which is what these digital assets are, they're artwork. Yeah, they're for building games with, but they're art. Uh, Being able to see that okay, such and such person minted this. So me as an artist, my profile on the Sandbox is Kamisazi, which is my gamer handle. So you'll be able to see. It doesn't show up for the bears because those are official Sandbox items, but there are assets that I will be minting from my account eventually. When that feature is opened up for all the creator fund artists, and eventually it'll be opened up to everybody. Actually, probably, hopefully, sometime in the next month, we'll start to see the creator fund assets getting minted. I'm not sure exactly how soon that's going to happen, but it's we're working very hard to get that as soon as possible out to people. So you'll see those minted. You'll be able to see who made it, when they made it, and then if you're things get passed around, they get traded, they get bought, they get sold. Uh, you'll be able to track you'll not only be able to track the who owned it and when, you'll be able to see if they made any changes to it. So we can't change the artwork, but you can remint a specific NFT. So when we mint an item, there's a quantity of them. So let's say an epic item, there's a certain quantity of those, and you buy one, you can remint your non-fungible token, your specific copy of that item, and you can upgrade it to a legendary with a new gem as an increased attribute. So you got your Queen Petunia flower epic asset in this presale. You remint it to legendary, and you give her some extra attack power or whatever. Um, that will show that you, as Goob or whatever your username is on there, uh, reminted that and added that new attribute, and you can resell it for a higher value than what you bought it for because now it is a special edition of uh, that asset. So there is it's not just that items will retain and increase in value because they're limited edition, and because things that are limited edition generally tend to accumulate value, we can also upgrade them,
Sure.
which is going to be a huge impact on that stuff. And you will get variants. So you will get legendary Queen Petunia with extra power, or legendary Queen Petunia with extra defense, or
Yeah, and
there will be people who are interested in gathering those. So
so
um,
before we move to Plankzilla, I
mhm.
do want to kind of hear about this. Goob says, can you remint a legendary?
I don't know actually. Well, okay, so yeah, yes and maybe.
Sure. Right.
So the yes part is that we can mint legendaries that do not have all the gem slots filled. So if you get gems, you can fill the slots on that asset. Um, so you could apply that. Generally, for these pre-sale assets, we do fill up the gem slots. So if you go to remint it, I don't know how that will be handled. Um, there may already be some protocol in place for that, and I don't know specifically the answer to that.
Yeah.
But I do know that if not all the slots are filled, and some assets, especially in the creator fund, we've intentionally left slots open on them, so that way people who buy them will be able to apply their own settings.
Yeah.
For the most part, any sort of uh, basic props that we make in the creator fund, we're doing as a common asset. So it's got one gem slot and the max quantity. And there'll just be a common item that everybody will be able to buy to put in their games. But we're leaving the gem slot open so that way you, as the user, can apply whatever gem you want to use for it in your game. So you may not want a gem at all. It may just be a visual prop in your game that doesn't do anything. It's just there as decoration. It doesn't need a gem attribute.
Sure.
But let's say you want to make it an asset spawner. Well, the luck gem increases the number of assets that can be spawned at any one time, or increase the frequency of spawning for that behavior. So adding a luck gem to your prop asset will increase that. Or let's say you want it to be an item that is breakable, but you want it to have very high HP. So like a diamond block in Minecraft, it takes a long time to pick. You want to have a door that's super strong, like an armor reinforced door. So you add a defense gem to it and raise its health value, so it takes a lot of hits to break this door down. That is something that you will be able to do. So for legendaries, I'm not sure if you can change the attributes once they're set to their max, but we will see. Stay
Well,
tuned.
so here I've got. I'm gonna look at that in a second, Shinra. I'm not gonna look at that on stream, but
I'll take a peek.
oh, oh yeah, probably not. No, I'm pretty sure that's not allowed. It's quite obvious. It's right under the
Oh, yeah,
sandbox.
I will. I'll take care of that.
Yeah, cool. Thanks for pointing
Or
that
I will.
out.
I will try.
Yeah. So the generally speaking, lewd, socially unacceptable. Like the target audience here is like at max teen, and I think that that's if I was I don't think it's going too far to say that that's not teen content. Like
Okay.
there's a lot of people who would say
If you refresh, it should be gone
it's
now.
already gone. You don't even have to refresh.
Awesome. That
Yep.
was instant. 'Cause I
That's
just hit
how
the delete.
that's how good our website is. When people talk about transactions per second, I showed it off in every other stream by updating my own logo. But now to it go boop disappear. That's what I'm talking
removed
about.
it, actually.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, right? Like you doing it
Well,
right
no,
now.
X Shinra said they removed it. So I removed it
Oh, yeah.
with my admin powers.
Right, right. So Alex happens to be the guy to talk to do that. So it was super, super fast, super easy, barely any inconvenience. So there was a question here.
Oh my God.
Yes.
No, memes.
Yeah. Oh, very good, very good. You got the reference. I like it.
I did. That's
So
my
it
favorite
says. Is there ever going to be a camera where we can incorporate in our games so we can record POV films and stills with? I'm going to go out on a limb here. I'm not part of the dev team, but I don't think that I have to be to answer yes. Right now, the team is already actively working on lighting situations, I think everybody's pretty much under the understanding that we're going to want to have first-person shooter style games eventually be developable. So POV films kind of goes hand in hand with that, I think, and that's just a matter of time, right? There's just a certain order of things that needs to happen. Multiplayer was the focus for 0.3, and if you're one of the 47 people that is still watching us, I can confirm that this week you will have access to the zero point 0.3 alpha test. And additionally, Seb says specifically, in response to, I have a question, when will the game maker go live? Any hint? He said, there is no more pre-registration. You can download it directly with 0.3. So,
Right now?
not now.
Or
When 0.3 goes live,
when
it says
0.3.
we are
Okay.
launching the alpha 0.3 update beginning of next week, directly on gamemaker.sandbox.game. So you'll be able to download it without pre-registering at 0.3. So that saves some of our staff a little bit of time in having to do all those approvals. We were approving somewhere in the ballpark of 2,000 to 3,000 on any given week before. So that's very nice to see. Let's see here. Cool. Gat has a question here. I don't know if maybe it's not a question. It says artists making the voxel models are going to be responsible for making their own sound design. Is that correct?
Not necessarily. I mean, that's complicated. I'm actually going to be working on some sound design stuff tomorrow. We're gonna be meeting with the composer of the. I think I can say this. I don't think it really means anything. So we have a meeting tomorrow with the guy who did the music for Sandbox Evolution. So we are going to be talking to him about sound effect design and the music in the game. So soundtrack and also musical hits like "You Opened a Chest," like Legend of Zelda, or whatever. So there's going to be a lot of sound design included in the base game. We already have stuff like not footprints, footsteps, jumping, rolling, sword slashing stuff. Some of those are placeholders; they might get replaced.
Sure.
So there's going to be a significant library of stuff that comes with it. And as part of the meeting tomorrow, I'm going to be advocating for what a land just popped open. What?
I told
I
you,
thought they were all
they're
done.
not done. There's still 5 there right now that
I
aren't
didn't even
confirmed.
notice that there were any purple left,
There's
and I saw
6
it pop
purples
yellow.
left. 6 purples left on the map right now, so there's a chance they don't actually get finalized. That's what I'm saying, right? The other day, we had somebody sticking around. They were on the stream. We were talking 35, 32 minutes in, something like that. They confirmed one of the last available booked lands. They were able to buy it, and they were 30 minutes late, right? And it's like, okay, cool, you know. And I'm going to answer a question that came from YouTube here. It says, what are the light blue small squares which are booked by the Sandbox? You'll notice here on the stream that I brought up this beautiful page. It says, introducing the $2 million Game Maker Fund. Right. So you can apply to pitch kind of your idea of games. And this is actually Alex's whole gig. Maybe I should just let you take this. You want to take this one?
Well, I'm not in charge of I'm not in charge of the Game Maker Fund. I'm manager basically for the Creator Fund. So
Oh, very
I
good.
deal with a lot of the asset creation and making sure things meet technical guidelines for that. So I'm not just doing like the Care Bears art. A good portion of assets on the marketplace that are not available to buy yet because they haven't been minted, but will be eventually, are ones that I gave technical recommendations to and I signed off on. And now as things change and grow, I'm not doing that as much anymore. One of our great artists who is not with us on stream today, but he sometimes pops up in the chat on our Wednesday or Saturday streams. Gato Stau. I'm not sure I say the screen name right, but he is also a manager in the Creator Fund, and he does most of the technical reviews now. So that's really what I'm involved in. But the Game Maker Fund is actually how I started working with the Sandbox on a more like full time, basically becoming staff. Is that was my vector into this industry, but
Sure.
um, you make a game pitch, and if your pitch is accepted, be as creative as you want to be in your pitch. Um, you will get funded to make that game. So you get a land grant, which could be one of these little blue parcels. The scope of your game will kind of determine where you get placed. So you could end up in one of the bigger blue properties. You could end up in one of the little one by ones. There's all sorts of possibilities there. So you know, shoot for the moon with your pitch. Make the biggest pitch that you can, and we will scale it back as needed.
Yeah.
um, my pitch, I haven't even worked on my game maker fund game because mine is like extremely story based. So when you're talking about point of view cameras and lighting and stuff like that, my idea needs all that stuff. And oh, he brought that back, so he is going to get a warning about that. So
Yeah.
anyway.
Here. Okay, so I'm going to move on to another question while Alex is handling his administrative
Yeah,
duties.
yeah, yeah.
This is when I add assets from the shop to my inventory, does that mean I can purchase later? I'm confused that it's not called wish list or something. Right, Nina, so what that is on the shop there, and I'm going to go to the shop to kind of showcase what Nina's talking about, is these little pluses indicate when you are signed in with your account, based on the affiliation to your email, these assets are added into your game maker, right? And right now, all of the assets are kind of wide open. You can just play with them as you like, because we are testing the game maker and continuing development on that in alpha. So until the marketplace goes live, Alex mentioned that these are not minted, meaning that they're just here kind of for testing. They don't have a serialized on-chain existence. So these are like almost like ghost versions of the real deal, right? So when you add them here, add them freely, have fun, make cool looking things. Later on down the road, not all of these will be available free. In fact, many of them will get minted and turned into things that are for sale. But for now, free to go. Whitelist everything, create what you want to make something that you think looks awesome to help you learn how the game maker works. And then later, if you're creating assets that are in VoxEdit, you'll be able to later upload them into the marketplace and use them yourself for your own creations at no cost, or upload them into the marketplace and mint them and then resell those assets that you create if you're interested. So a lot of different kind of angles on that answer, but hopefully it's the most complete one for you. All right, Alex, how are you doing, buddy?
I'm doing all right. I might need to pop off soon because it's already
It has been an
afternoon.
hour since the end of the land sale. So typically this is going to be where we will sign off anyhow. So if you are with us now and you want to talk more, you can always reach out on Telegram. You can reach out on our Discord channel. Of course, you can get us on social medias as well. You can reach out to me directly if you like. And we will be back in 23 hours doing this again.
Yeah, so I'm not sure I fully answered that question about the Game Maker Fund, but we can you can always tweet at me on Twitter. It's at Kamisazi. I'll type that in the chat.
Sure.
Kamisazi.
And I set you up for that snipe, by the way. No worries.
So that's my handle on Twitter. So you can always tweet at me. I do check my mentions. So if you have any questions about that, either comment on something that I said or just directly message that, you can DM me there. And I would be happy to answer more questions about the Game Maker Fund or the Creator Fund or anything Sandbox related that I can help with. And we, of course, can talk about that more tomorrow.
Cool. All right, Alex, thank you for joining me. And we'll see everybody here tomorrow. Right, I disconnected that, but I didn't disconnect this. See, this is where it all breaks down. Don't have again, rip.